Thank you for joining me today for Reading Represents. My name is Miss Hannah. I'm with the Chesapeake Public Library, and I am so glad you are joining us today. We are going to start by singing an intro song together so that everybody can feel welcome and ready to read and learn and play today. So we're going to use a few American Sign Language signs for some of the words in our song that we're going to sing together. So I'm going to teach you those signs first so that you can use them and follow along while we're singing the song. So the first sign I'm going to teach you today is read. So you hold one hand up like it's a book and you do this with the other hand. Take your fingers down the hand for the word read. And the next word that we're going to learn today is together. Take your two hands with thumbs up, put them together like this, do the motion, and that is the American sign for together. So we've got read and we've got together. We're going to learn the sign for happy, which is this. You take your two hands, palm out, and you make a brushing motion on the front of yourself like this, happy. Okay? And then we're going to learn the sign for learn, which is very easy. Put your hand up like you have information in your hand and put that information in your head. Learn. Learn. Okay. The next sign we're going to learn is done. When we're done, we do that sign. Done. All right. And finally, we're going to learn the word for fun or play, which is this, which is a hard sign to do because it's hard to do that with your fingers, but practice it and see if you can use that sign for play or fun in our song today. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you the words to the song. We're going to sing it once through fairly slowly so you can learn them, and then we'll sing it faster together, okay? And I'm so glad you joined us, so here is our welcome song. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. All right. So the next part goes like this. We read things to learn things. We read things for fun. We read things together until we are done. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. All right, let's try doing that a little bit faster. And it goes like this. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. We'll read things to learn things, we'll read things for fun, we'll read things together, and then we are done. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. Great job! Thank you so much for singing with me. Check it out. Reading, Finding, Helping by Patricia Hubble. Illustrated by Nancy Spire. Published by Marshall Cavendish Children's. Let's learn about going to the library and checking out books. Books, books, books. Our librarian loves books. Curl up in a lap books. Show a treasure map books. Books with pictures, books with none. Books about the moon and sun. Little books, big books, pirate books, and pig books. She keeps the books on tables, racks, and high and low on shelves called stacks. She knows just where to find each book, is always glad to help us look. Loves books of every age and shape. She fixes books with glue and tape. Straightens shelves, finds DVDs, find books on snakes and bumblebees. Gives out cards that we all need to take books home and read and read. She checks out books, helps fill our pack, tells us when to bring books back. Plans book parties, fixes snacks, helps with schoolwork, looks up facts. Uses computers, reads reviews, finds out what books are in the news. She tells us how a book is made and dresses up for book parade. Here are the parts of a book: the copyright page, title page, table of contents, and the index at the end. Shows us movies, old and new, helps us when we cut and glue. On winter days in cozy nooks, she sings us songs and reads us books. When it's time to lock the door, she goes right home and reads some more. The end. Let's do a flannel together called 5 Little Bookworms. Can you help me count? All right, we're gonna put the first one up there. And you can do 1 with your finger. One little bookworm was reading the news. Along came another, and then there were 2. 2 little bookworms were reading about trees. Along came another, and then there were 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 little bookworms reading books about the outdoors. Along came another, and then there were 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little bookworms reading books about beehives. Along came another, and then there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little bookworms who all love to read. They hope you'll join them and follow their lead. Should we count them down? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Do you know the song, The Wheels on the Bus? Let's learn a special version of that song for our special week of library. So we're talking about library this week, and this version of The Wheels on the Bus is the same tune, but the words are different for libraries. So we're gonna sing the doors in the library go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors at the library go open and shut all through the day. And then the library staff says, come on in, come on in, come on in. The library staff says, come on in all through the day. Then we're gonna go to the shelves and look for books. This is a sign for books. Look for books, look for books. We'll go to the shelves and look for books all through the day. We'll open up the books and read, 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 read. We'll open up the books and read, read, read all through the day. And then we'll check out our books. So we're going to pretend to stamp them because that's what they used to do when you checked out books from the library. They used to stamp them. We check out the books and take them home. Take them home, take them home. We check out the books and take them home all through the day. And then we have what we need. We'll see you next week is our last one. See you next week. See you next week. We have what we need. We'll see you next week at the library. Are you ready to sing it with me? All right, here we go. The doors at the library go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors at the library go open and shut all through the day. The staff at the library says, come on in, come on in, come on in. The staff at the library says, come on in all through the day. We go to the shelves and look for books, look for books, look for books. We go to the shelves and look for books all through the day. We open up the books and read, 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 read. We open up the books and read, read, read all through the day. We check out the books and take them home, take them home, take them home. We check out the books and take them home all through the day. We have what we need. We'll see you next week. See you next week. See you next week. We have what we need. We'll see you next week at the library. Great job. Thanks for singing. Bunnies Book Club by Annie Silvestro. Illustrated by Tatiana Maiweiss. Published by Doubleday Books for Young Readers. Everybody loves a good book, even animals. Bunny loved books. He'd loved them ever since he first heard the lady with the red glasses reading aloud outside the library. As he listened, Bunny imagined himself climbing mountains, captaining a ship, ruling a kingdom. But when summer ended, story time moved back inside. Bunny wasn't sure if animals were allowed in the library, but Bunny was sure he couldn't live without books. Night after night, he could hardly sleep for wishing. He had to do something. So, with a flashlight in his paws and hope in his heart, Bunny jumped out of bed and tiptoed through the dark. But when he reached the library door, it was locked. So were the windows. Bunny tried digging, climbing, and yanking. Nothing worked until finally he noticed the book return. The shiny handle was far above his head, but it was no match for a high-hopping bunny hungry for books. Bunny leapt. He clung to the bar, flung himself over, and wriggled his cottontail through the slot. He landed inside with a thud. Bunny's eyes sparkled at the sight of the shelves bursting with books. It was better than a field full of fresh, crunchy carrots. Bunny didn't know where to start. He took a deep breath. It smelled as if he were wrapped inside the pages of his favorite book. He followed his nose to the adventure section. Then he found stories about swashbucklers, sharks, and superheroes. Bunny greedily grabbed them all. His whiskers twitching with excitement, he slipped his treasures through the book slot, one by one. Then, performing his best balancing act, Bunny wobbled home. He couldn't wait to dig in. And so Bunny returned to the library each night. He searched and sneaked, then scurried back to read. Soon his home was more books than burrow. Then one evening, a loud knock startled Bunny. He closed his book and opened the door. "Where have you been?" asked Porcupine. "Reading," said Bunny. "Why?" said Porcupine. Bunny's eyes popped wide open. "Why?" he spluttered. "Have you ever been to the library?" It was time for Bunny to let Porcupine in on his secret. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" said Porcupine. "Oh, calm your quills," said Bunny. "I'm too prickly. I'll never fit." Bunny shoved, pushed, and shoved until, pop, went Porcupine. Bunny slipped in and flipped on his flashlight. "Whoa," said Porcupine. "I know," said Bunny. "Do you think there's a story about balloons? I've always wondered about balloons." "Most definitely," said Bunny. Sure enough, Porcupine found books on balloons, and on deserts and dunes, on caterpillars and cocoons. When Bunny handed him one about hedgehogs, he hugged it. The two friends took turns cramming books out the slot. Their towers teetered so high they could barely carry them. Back at Bunny's, they cozied up with cups of tea and carrot muffins, and together they read until sunrise. One night, Bear noticed the light on at Bunny's. He opened the door and tripped over a stack of books. "What's going on?" said Bear. "Here," said Bunny, handing him a book. Bear made room and settled in to read. Soon, more curious animals began visiting. "Do you have any books about outer space?" said Bird. "Or about volcanoes?" asked Mole. "I'd like a ghost story," said Mouse. "I think it's time for a field trip," said Bunny. One by one, the animals stuffed themselves inside the library. Bear caused a bit of a delay. They scattered about, sniffing the stacks, pawing over pages. Squirrel gathered stories about the circus. Raccoon nabbed one about outlaws and bandits. Frog found a fairy tale. No one heard the key in the front door. No one heard the clack, clack, clacking of footsteps. And no one heard the light flick on. "What do we have here?" said the librarian. The animals looked up in shock. Bunny gasped. Porcupine gaped. Bear groaned. "Follow me," she said. The animals marched slowly behind her. "We're done for," whispered Porcupine. "All libraries have rules," said the librarian sternly. Bunny's whiskers trembled. Porcupine's back bristled. Bear eyed the door. Bunny stepped forward to take the blame. The librarian leaned down. "The first rule is every book lover must have one of these." She handed Bunny and his friends shiny new library cards. "Now you may borrow books," she said, smiling. "As long as you return them, of course." Bunny couldn't believe his ears. They could keep coming to the library. He beamed at his fellow readers, then bounced to the shelves. He picked the perfect book, and he proudly checked out the very first official selection for Bunny's Book Club. The end. Let's talk about the books on our table today. Look at all these great books I found at the library. We're going to do a little bit of a rhyme together and we're going to count our books. So let's see how many we have. Can you use your counting fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little books at the library. 5 little books as great as can be. Along comes a mouse to check one out. So excited he starts to shout. Shh, we're at the library. Which book should he check out? How about if you give a mouse a cookie? That looks like a great one. All right, how many do we have now? 4. 4 little books at the library. 4 little books as great as can be. Along comes the Cat in the Hat to check one out. So excited he starts to shout, shh, we're at the library. Which book should the Cat in the Hat check out? How about this one? If I Ran the Dog Show with the Cat in the Hat. Great choice. Okay, sit tall. There you go. How many books do we have left? 1, 2, 3. 3 little books. Oh no! Let's fix that problem. The Cat in the Hat is making a mess. He always makes a mess, doesn't he? All right, we have our 3 books. 3 little books at the library. 3 little books as great as can be. Along comes the very hungry caterpillar. To see, so excited he starts to shout, shh, we're at the library. Which one should he check out? The one about Peter Rabbit? No. The one about the chickens? No. How about Love from the Very Hungry Caterpillar? Let's put him over here next to the Cat in the Hat. All right, how many books are left? 1, 2. 2 little books at the library. 2 little books as great as can be. Along comes a chicken to check one out. So excited she starts to shout, "Shh, we're at the library." And she's going to check out this book, which is called Eek! Halloween, and features the chickens. Okay, have a seat, little chicken. And we have one book left. Just one little book at the library. One little book, as great as can be. Along comes Peter Rabbit to check one out. So excited he starts to shout, "There's one book left, Peter." "Don't shout though. Shh, we're at the library. But I think this book is perfect for you." Peter Rabbit. There you go. So you can head out to your local library and find the perfect book for you. Thank you so much for joining me today for Reading Represents. Let's sing a goodbye song together, and I'll see you next time. Oh, it's time to say goodbye for today. Oh, it's time to say goodbye for today. Can you wave your arms like this? Can you blow a little kiss? Mwah! Oh, it's time to say goodbye for today. See you next time.